Did you know in the summer of 1940, the small island of Malta became the fulcrum of the Mediterranean War? Barely 17 miles long and 9 miles wide, it was a dot of stone and soil in a sea controlled by the Axis. Yet its position was priceless. Whoever held Malta could strike at enemy supply lines feeding the deserts of North Africa. For Britain, Malta was a fortress that simply could not fall. When Mussolini declared war in June 1940, the first bombs fell on Valletta within hours. And from that day forward, the island became the most bombed place on Earth. For 2 years, Italian and later German aircraft rained down destruction. Over 3,000 air raids hammered Malta. Valletta's proud streets crumbled, harbors filled with wreckage, families lived in caves carved into limestone cliffs. But through fire and fear, the people did not break. Their spirit became a weapon as vital as any gun. At first, Malta's defenses seemed laughable. Only 3 Gloucester Gladiator biplanes, christened Faith, Hope and Charity, rose to meet the enemy. They were fragile relics, slower and weaker than the swarms of Italian fighters, yet flown with a ferocity that stunned the attackers. As the war dragged on, Hurricanes and later Spitfires trickled in, often flown from aircraft carriers in daring one-way launches. Young RAF pilots scrambled daily from cratered runways, engaging bombers with courage that outpaced their dwindling numbers. Exhausted, sunburnt, and often wounded, they climbed back into cockpits again and again, knowing that if Malta fell, the whole Mediterranean might be lost. The land war was no less brutal. Soldiers and civilians dug defensive lines, preparing for invasion. Food ran low, then vanished. Water grew scarce under constant bombardment. Children carried rubble to clear bombed streets. Mothers queued for bread under air raid sirens. Priests gave last rites in dust-choked cathedrals. Still, no white flag appeared. Valletta's people chose endurance over surrender. They carried themselves with the same unyielding resolve as the garrison and pilots above. The greatest test came in 1942. By then, Malta was starving. Its airfields had been cratered, its defenders stretched thin, its civilians gaunt with hunger. The Axis believed the island's spirit was close to breaking, and then came Operation Pedestal, a convoy of 14 merchant ships escorted by carriers, battleships, and destroyers, tasked with saving Malta or dying in the attempt. For 4 days, the Mediterranean boiled with fire. German and Italian bombers, torpedo boats, and submarines struck mercilessly. One by one, British ships went down, yet battered survivors pressed on. The climax came with the tanker Ohio, struck by bombs, torpedoes, and even a crashing plane, yet still afloat. Propped between 2 destroyers, decks burning, hull sagging, she was dragged into Valletta harbor with her precious cargo of oil. Crowds wept and cheered. Malta would endure. From that moment, the tide shifted. Malta became an unsinkable fortress, launching submarines and bombers that crippled Axis convoys. Every tank starved of fuel in Rommel's Africa Corps, every truck abandoned in the desert, bore the mark of Malta's resistance. What the islanders and their defenders won with blood and starvation reshaped the course of the war. So great was their courage that in April 1942, King George VI awarded the entire island the George Cross, Britain's highest civilian award for bravery. The citation read, "To bear witness to a heroism and devotion that will long be famous in history." Today, that cross rests proudly on the Maltese flag, a symbol of endurance forged in fire. The defense of Malta was more than a siege. It was a testament to the unbreakable will of Britain and her allies. Against hunger, fire, and hopeless odds, they refused to surrender. Outnumbered, outgunned, their cities shattered and skies black with bombers, they stood unyielding. Malta's story is the story of resilience itself, the defiance of a people who proved that courage can outlast even the fiercest storm. Please like and follow.